Yes, welcome everyone here to the Smash Sport Show right here on Smash FM here on lockdown Tuesday here in Melbourne. Of course, let's turn our attention now to netball in particular and speak to our favourite VNL club, that is the City West Falcons. And of course, in the next couple of weeks or so, we are going to be interviewing a couple of the Falcons players, of course, especially those who are currently based in the country, of course, in this case, interstate as well. Of course, a bit about what's been like in the country, and especially how they managed to travel all the way to Melbourne to play for the Falcons this year in particular. But of course, we've got a very special guest, of course, as I mentioned. She has to travel interstate to get to Melbourne to play netball. Of course, she joins us right now. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
No worries. Well, I'll get you to introduce yourself and tell us, I guess, whereabouts in the country that you come to us from.
Alrighty. My name's Vashti, and I'm actually from New South Wales, a tiny little town called Henty, which is about an hour north of the border, Albury-Wodonga there. So I grew up here playing netball because that's about the only sport you can play in little country towns. But so ended up loving the sport and wanted to keep getting better. So obviously I had to do a bit of traveling to kind of get that good coaching and just those skills and stuff. So I did a bit of traveling. So about an hour I would have traveled to play a next level up. And I made the big decision this year to head to Melbourne to play in the VNL league. So it's about a 4 and a bit hour drive all the way out to Altona. So those couple of trials and those odd trainings were definitely a big day. But moving to Melbourne made it a little bit easier. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned obviously you're from country New South Wales. Obviously the restrictions there is not so bad in this down here in Melbourne at the moment, and obviously for the rest of Victoria. I guess for you, what have you been doing in, I guess I wouldn't say isolation for the fact that obviously the restrictions are not so bad where you are. What have you been doing to sort of during these times to sort of get yourself motivated, and especially to keep that fitness up for hopefully a resumption of the VNL season in 2021?
I've been lucky enough to be able to exercise without wearing a mask over my face, so I'm enjoying that. But just doing the Falcons online training sessions. I've been doing them 3 times a week, and just because I wanted to get on the court this year and just have a run around, I asked Marg if it was all right to actually join a team down here. So I've been playing for the Mangapla Goannas. They've taken me on this year and I've been running around with them. Obviously, it's not quite the level that VNL is at, but it's so good to get back on a court. So I'm doing a bit of training with them as well as, keeping up a little bit of an extra running session and weight session a week. So it's been keeping me motivated. I've got lots of time on my hands being at home. So enjoying it.
I guess for you, especially you have the luxury of, I guess, not much restrictions at all in country New South Wales. And obviously you get to have an actual proper season compared to like the rest of Victoria. I guess, how has the team been going, and I guess how far in the season is it at the moment?
Yeah, so it's been a modified season. So we have 6 games, 3 rounds of finals. We're currently up to our 4th game this weekend, and we're undefeated so far. We come up against some top opposition this weekend, so it'll be a good game. But it's really good just to be out on the court. I'm still learning lots. I feel like I'm learning a lot because I'm just sharing a bit of my knowledge as well. So that's been enjoyable. So not quite the standard of your VNL, but I'm honestly not complaining because a lot of people don't even get to play netball. So I'm over the moon with it.
Now you mentioned it's a modified season, and I think by the sounds of it, you play each other once, and then obviously finals straight away. I guess when you, I guess when you came back home and obviously had a chance to play, and knowing that you had to play each other once and then straight into finals, I guess were you reasonably happy with that, or would you rather play more games than finals?
Well, it was actually a lot of effort just to get this league off the ground. I originally wanted to play with another league who then folded, and then I went to another league and they had to join with another league just to get enough people to play. Obviously, people are still a little bit worried with the virus, and also they're just struggling. They're not allowing anyone from obviously Victoria to play in this league, so they've had to modify numbers and everything. So it worked out all right playing with six teams. I think are in all up, so they've done the best they can at the moment, and they're just going to go with that. Hopefully, we actually get to finish the season, and this virus is just controlled a little bit until the end, anyways.
I guess for yourselves in the country, I guess you're pretty lucky for the fact that where you are is pretty isolated, and you don't have the clusters of what's down here in Melbourne and obviously what's been happening in Sydney at the moment as well. But I guess being out on the netball court, and you mentioned there's 6 teams in the comp at the moment. Tell us, I guess, for everyone here in Victoria in particular, what is it like playing the country in country New South Wales?
Yeah, so obviously I started my netball here in the country leagues, but obviously when you get into those higher leagues, it's very netball based, and it's all about focusing on netball. You come, you play, you win. Well, that's like the end goal. Whereas you probably won't understand it unless you're from a country town. But when you go to it's a football netball day, you go early at, 9 o'clock in the morning, and you're there until 5 o'clock in the afternoon. You're there supporting a team. You know all the locals, from the little babies all the way up to the people that have been there since forever. And it's just it's a whole different vibe to like the bigger leagues in obviously Melbourne area. So it's great to get back out there and have that community feeling again. I've been really enjoying it, and like I said, it's probably hard for anyone to kind of understand it unless you've really experienced it firsthand. But yeah.
Now, you mentioned about your current club that you're playing for at the moment. Now, I'm assuming, as you mentioned, you have your actual local club that you normally be playing for locally. Tell us who that club is, and you might as well give them a shout out while you're at it. And I guess how important they've been to your netball journey.
Yeah. So my hometown is Henty. So there's about, I don't even know if there's 1,000 people in the town. It's a small little town. So that was my original club growing up till about age 15. So unfortunately this year they couldn't get off, like their league had to fold. So me and my brother joined a club that's just north of us. They're called the Mangapla Goannas. They're an amazing club. I feel like I've been here for years. They just took on new players. They were really happy to take on me and my brother. So they're great team. Get around them. We're here we'll be known for the 2020 premiership, I'm sure.
Oh, there you go. There's a big call already. Well, let's hope that comes true. And if that does, we'll definitely have to get you back on the show to talk all about it. But let's talk a bit about, I guess, your decision to come to the Falcons. You mentioned, obviously, this year was supposedly your first year down here in Melbourne and playing our state comp in the VNL. I guess, wasn't an easy decision for the fact that, you where you are is probably halfway between Melbourne and Sydney?
Yeah. No, So it was obviously, I put quite a bit of thought into it, and I really just wanted to take that next step in my netball journey. And I think like the only way to do that was to really get a lot more exposure, and that was probably had to be done in Melbourne. It's a bit of a struggle being the little country kid kind of trying to get into the bigger leagues. So yeah, I made that decision, talked to heaps of people about it, and they all highly recommended it. And then the next step was obviously choosing the club. So I did some trials at a couple other clubs and really thought about it, talked to a lot of people, and I don't know what, it was really my gut, I think, said that Falcons was the way to go. And couldn't be happier with my decision. It was actually looked like it was going to be a ripper year for us. The team I had, I know it was my first year in the league and I didn't know much about it, but the team I thought they were amazing, both on and off the court. So I was really excited for it to all go ahead. But it wasn't an easy decision. Being a country girl, I do love my space and being able just to go outside and not run into 1,000 different people. But it was a good experience while it lasted. So we'll hopefully might be another a year next year to really get it off the ground and going.
Now, you mentioned about making the decision to come to the Falcons, and obviously it's a long way, as you mentioned, it's 4.5-hour drive to get down here. I guess now you mentioned that when obviously the restrictions weren't so bad it is now here in Melbourne. You mentioned that you were staying down here in Melbourne?
Yeah. So I was, I thought if I was going down there to play netball, I'd better do something else as well and not just. So I looked at a uni course, and I was doing a course through the Richmond Institute of Sport and Swinburne. So they have a course there for you. So I did that. So I got to stay on campus in Hawthorn there. So it wasn't too much of a drive, about a 45-minute drive, which is nothing for me being out country when we drive 2 hours for games. But so it actually worked out really well. Just getting the hang of it all, working out training and all my uni stuff. So it was a bit of a long holiday down there, but no, it was good.
Now, I know for a fact that I think you're not the only interstate player at the Falcons, I believe. I think there's about 2 others that are in the same boat as well. I think it might be from your area, to be honest. I guess, how special is that?
I didn't even know about it until I was down there, and some of the girls were asking about where I lived and where I'd come from, and we actually made the connection. So it was pretty funny figuring that out. It was really comforting, actually, knowing that there was some of the other girls down there that knew where I come from and what my background was like and stuff like that. So it was a bit funny, actually.
Have you ever played against them?
No, I must have just missed out on them. I think I was just age group a bit younger, but we did play in the same leagues and stuff. So.
And I have to ask, considering I'm going to hopefully interview them later in the week, have you played against their clubs, and who's come up the better?
From what I know, I think we actually might have played at the same club. In Jane. Oh, you might have to ask Cook about that one. But definitely Wodonga Raiders is the strongest club out there. So we'll see what she says about it.
Yes, I thought so. I thought that might have been the case. Now, be a highlight throughout your netball journey.
Well, I've had a couple little exciting things. Like obviously, just at my early ages, I actually got the opportunity to win 2 premierships on one day. So that was pretty good for me. But going into the older ones, I've I don't know. I've had it. Netball's been a bit of a love-hate relationship there for me for a bit. So getting back on the court after a year off a bit of a struggle year was that probably doesn't look like a highlight to many people, but for me, it was like a big stepping stone. Ended up doing pretty well in the league and the league vote count and stuff like that. And that just really, it taught me why I love the sport and why I play it every weekend and why I do some craze, like why we run around a court for training sessions for 2 hours. It just showed me why we do that. It's because, we really love it. So, yeah.
What position do you play on the court? And if you had a preferred position where you love to convince Marg and Rickshaw and the rest of them to put you, where would that be?
So defense, definitely a defender. I did play shooter in my early years, but I think that was only because I got rebounds. I really wasn't that good. So if I could, like, a position that I would want Marg and them to put me in would be just defense. Keep me in there. If you want me to do any good, just keep me somewhere down there.
Now, what does the sport of netball mean to you now?
Ooh, it's a good question. I reckon it's definitely changed over the years what it actually means for me. It used to be just something to fill up your weekend with, but now I think it's definitely something that it's kind of like a getaway from everything, a bit of an escape button for a lot of my things that I've got going on. It's something I've always loved, and I feel like whatever emotions or what's going on with you, you can step onto that court or just jump on to and some training or like run around, and it can definitely just change the way you're feeling and what's going on around you. So it's a bit of an escape for me, I reckon.
And have you had a chance to sort of sit down and figure out what you want to do in regards to the sport of netball, like long and short term?
I haven't really sat down and really put a lot of thought into it. I'm someone who kind of just takes what I'm given, but I don't know. I think I would definitely like to continue like giving back to the sport because it's given me a lot, obviously. So even if that's not even playing, it's like just working in a club or working with athletes somehow, if it's in like nutrition or all the way to physio, something like that could be really cool. But obviously I'd just love to keep playing the sport for as long as I can. I would just train hard and kind of just see where it takes me. I'll be happy with just about anything.
Now, you mentioned about giving back to the sport just a moment ago. Is something like coaching something you want to do, especially back at your hometown?
Yeah, no, actually that's has popped up a couple of times. Obviously I didn't plan to be back so soon this year, but definitely if I'll kind of just give my experience a go in netball, and I'd be more than happy to come back. I've obviously had some pretty amazing coaches, have taught me a lot, so it would kind of be rude to keep that all to myself. So definitely if I'm given the opportunity, be a good way to learn and just teach a bit.
Now, what would be your advice to our listeners in the country in particular that want to get involved in netball?
Yeah. Something that I probably would have appreciated would have been to just keep going. Perseverance is key. Being country people, we're obviously have a slight disadvantage to the people in the city, just like being seen and given opportunities at clinics and just little things like that is so obviously I've experienced a number of knockbacks, and it hurts. They're hard, but if you can get over them, it's it's like unreal. I know it's pretty typical advice, but take it. Really take it on board.
Now, obviously, I've had a chance to live in the country myself, but up in Queensland. And the one thing I noticed with the country sports, and especially country netball and football, is that really valued the sport that you're playing, and I think that's the advantage that country people have to what metro people have in regards to you have to work a lot harder, and I guess the skills is a lot better. Do you see it like that?
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting topic, I guess. Obviously, I feel like because there's more people in the city, there's probably more coaches and there's probably more chances of having you good coaches. So it is something that country kids can miss out on is having that good learning style. But being a country kid, there's something else that you learn, obviously, is to really go hard at that ball is another thing. So it has its ups and downs, I reckon. I was pretty lucky to have some really good coaches out in the country, so that I can't thank them enough for that. But yeah, I guess if you look into it, there can be some advantages and disadvantages to it all. So yeah, I guess it depends what angle you take.
Now, you mentioned quite a lot about your country coaches there. You might as well give them a shout out.
All right. Yeah, no, definitely I can say without a doubt it'd be Jodie House and Fee Boyer. They're unreal with what they know in netball. So if you ever come across them, just take as much as you can get from them.
Have you convinced any of your teammates there at your local club to maybe take the journey that you've taken to come down to Melbourne?
Yeah, well, I've not that I full on convince them, but I did mention that my experience so far has been amazing and that could have helped them make the decision to come along. But yeah, I guess it's been a bit hard with this whole situation we're in, that some people aren't too keen to go to Melbourne at the moment. But everyone I've anyone that's asked me, I've just raved about it. So I hope I have.
And is there anyone at your local club we should watch out for that should come down to Melbourne?
There is some young girls coming up, and whether or not they decide to come this way, hopefully they do. But you'd probably be looking at maybe Mackenzie House or maybe some other young girls in the team, Marnie Gorman or Blaney House. Definitely, if they come this way, that we should definitely pick them up for Falcons.
Yeah, so there you go. There's a message out there to all the Falcons coaches to watch out for those players. Now, of course, lighthearted questions about your country team. Firstly, any embarrassing moments through how many months already through the season?
Ooh, what has happened? We just had a photographer go through on our last game and they've come out with some ripper photos. That's always good. What else has been good? We've had a couple news reporters come through and it's been a bit interesting, some of the things they've said about our team. But nothing quite embarrassing just yet, but hopefully I think something might come up in the next couple of weeks. Got a couple functions and little things like that, so I will definitely get back to you on that one.
Okay, well, we'll ask that question a bit later on in the year. Who's the comedian?
Ooh, that's a good one. I think can our assistant coach and coach be that one? They're not technically team players, but they're in the team, so we'll go with that. Our coach is awesome. She's amazing, funny as.
Now, same question, but this time for the Falcons.
It would probably have to be when just between Crofty and Hannah when they get together. I don't think the coaches love it, but they're a good laugh for us.
Oh, how do I know Crofty was going to be in one of these answers? Now, of course, who's the best singer and dancer in your country team first?
Michaela Cole definitely can sing and dance. That's I don't know how well it is, but it's enough to have a little giggle. And then for Falcons, I don't even know. Whips. I'm not sure. Anyone who's got good moves on the court, maybe. We'll go with. I'm sure Daisy could do something good. I reckon she'd have something.
We'll find out if we have Daisy on the show a little bit later on in the week, so we might pose that question to her. Now, of course, I have to ask: do the country team itself have a pump-up song before a game?
Ooh. We did have the one song playing. What was it? Mr. Brightside. It wasn't really just pumping us up, but it was just playing, and I think everyone just got around it, so that was good. You can't go wrong with Mr. Brightside.
No, you definitely can't. And of course, now we mentioned about embarrassing moments. What's the funniest ever? Is there anyone at your country club, either during training or during a game, that just did an absolute funny thing that just made you laugh?
This wasn't this year,
yeah,
but it was last year, a couple years ago, actually, a little while ago. We it's going to be a very had to be there moment, but my childhood friend was picking up her premiership neck thing, and she was she just did a good roll, not a roll, but just a good trip, fell to the hands while getting her little neck thing. But so that was good. We had to try and keep it cool and just let her walk it off. But I think everyone was laughing and just in excitement. So that was good, actually.
Anyone take a photo of that moment?
No, we didn't even have it videoing at that stage. The lady videoed afterwards. So we have no proof, which sucks because she won't admit to it today. But we'll I don't think that's something I'll forget.
Oh no, that would have been a great moment.
It was good. Really topped off the winning.
I know you don't want to single anyone out in the country, the team that, but I'm going to ask this question. I'm assuming you would play alongside some amazing players throughout your time in netball for your country team. Do you have a top 5 players that you played alongside with?
So I would have to straight away put Brooke Price up there. We've been defending, and Alyssa Donaldson. They're definitely they've been my little defending buddies forever. Who else have I played? Nikita Singhi. We played way back in from my local town. Who else would be in it? I think I'm gonna have to put the House sisters. So that's Shayla House, Blaney House, and Mackenzie House. I know that was 6, but we'll go with that.
That's right, close enough. Close enough to 5. Obviously with Melbourne and Victoria in lockdown at the moment, I always ask this question. I'm going to ask you: have you, throughout this isolation and lockdown period, have you done something that you didn't think you had? Have you had a hidden talent or try something new that you didn't think you had?
Well, with my uni course, we've been doing a lot of just a practical session every so often. And a lot of the time it's been yoga. All right. I'm a very big, long, lanky person. So flexibility hasn't always been my strong point. But even with Falcons doing a bit of Pilates and stuff, I'm really liking this whole really easygoing type exercise, very calming. I'm not great at it. Never don't watch me do it. That wouldn't be pretty, but I'm liking it. So I don't know if it's a talent, but it's definitely a new hobby I've picked up.
Oh, don't worry. I'm pretty sure some of us have seen it. So I think you do really well. I actually have seen you in our.
Yeah.
I have, don't worry, as I'm doing my own sessions as well. So
it's not pretty. We need some work, but that's all right, as long as we're trying.
Smash FM is the Sea West Falcons team sponsor. Now, my question to you is, how special to have Smash FM as a sponsor?
Oh, these guys are amazing. I've obviously being the first year here, I didn't really know much, and I was kind of just getting thrown with a lot of information in the sponsors of Falcons. But no, I think the work you guys do is awesome, and just like, yeah, really bringing the knowledge and just like, yeah, having a bit of fun with athletes, and yeah, just raising the importance of just getting around sport as young people, and just, yeah, loving it, I guess. So yeah, the little bit that I've done with you guys, I've had a lot of fun, and yeah, I have a little giggle out of the things you guys do, so it's been good.
Well, Vashti, thank you so much for joining us. It's awesome having you on the show. Hopefully we get the chance to meet you in person this time, once we all get our lockdown here in Melbourne. Obviously stay safe, and obviously there's not much longer to your finals, and especially that grand final. By the sounds that you're probably going to get there by the sounds of it. So let's hope it all goes well. If you do win the premiership, let us know. We'd love to have you on the show, and maybe we can get a couple of your teammates to join you on this Zoom call to talk all about the hopefully a premiership win in about a month's time.
Perfect. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, really enjoyed it, and had a good laugh on my Tuesday night. So thanks for that, Will. Appreciate it. And I look forward to having another one of these.
Not a problem. That's Vashti there, of course, joins from regional New South Wales, of course, part of the Falcons, of course, VNL 10 that we sponsor, of course, and we've got more of the country edition of the Falcons a little bit later on the week, so, of course, make sure you tune into that. And there's more on the Smash Sports Show right after this. Don't go away here on Lockdown Tuesday.